All right, here we go. Love Wins by the Stewards. How are you doing today? I'm a little high, so I'm going to come down a little bit. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
What's up?
How's everybody doing?
What's up? What's up,
bring your
people?
water back up. What's up? Bring your stuff back up. Yep, there you go. There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
How are y'all this evening?
Hi,
On this lovely Sunday evening.
Can y'all see me?
Yeah, you got to come closer to your husband. Come love on your husband.
Come on.
Love on me. Yes, yes, yes.
Hi, everybody that's joining. Okay, so apparently Facebook has changed the option to see everybody that's joining you live. You can only see the number of people. I can't see who's on. So if you guys are on our live, please say hi. Okay, yes I can see. I can see now.
See who's on?
I can see on my mobile device. I can't see on the laptop, I guess.
All right. Well, yeah, they changed it. I think
here
somebody
we
else
are.
was saying that as well.
Here we are. So do your
I think somebody else was saying that over there.
our introduction. Come on, get it together.
All right, here we go. Love Wins by the Stewards. This is season number 3, episode number 2. Hope you guys enjoyed last week. Last week we talked about a plethora of things.
Yes.
This is a podcast that's built on relationships. Our tagline is for the culture, by the culture. So anything that has to do with our culture, we're talking about it. We also have guests. Occasionally we have guests because of COVID. We don't have anybody on right now. But if you would like to be a guest, we like to have interesting conversation. You can email us, which my wife and I, because we've been off so long, we have forgotten our email address. So we're telling you to get involved with us by just inboxing us, right? Do you know that?
Yeah, just inbox. I think it's lovewinsbythestewards@gmail.com.
It's not that.
No. It's steward.lovewins@gmail.com.
Say it one more time.
Steward.lovewins@gmail.com.
That's it. So if you want to be a part of this show through a guest or sponsorship, you can email that email address, or you could just inbox my lovely wife or myself, right?
Don't inbox me if you're not my Facebook friends. It's going to go to my spam, and y'all going to think I'm acting funny.
You don't check the spam.
I don't check spam. Sorry.
So
Hi, niece.
Yeah, speaking of sponsors, we have our standing sponsor, which is Empire. All right, Empire is at 3315 West Roosevelt. And we are just coming off a phenomenal week. Last week, we had the man himself, 50 Cent. He was there hosting his Branson Cognac with a Branson takeover party that we have every month. So we're coming off great momentum with that. This week coming up is Memorial Day weekend, and we almost have a concert almost every 2 weeks at Empire, right? So we've got Fredo Bang. If you guys don't know who Fredo Bang, look him up on IG. Check him out. And then on the next Friday, which is June 4th, we've got a celebration concert for Dee Dee Jones. She was out, a
couple of months.
Yeah, she didn't tell me why she was out. So I'm assuming she had some medical problems,
right? On medical leave, yes. She was on medical leave.
She hadn't performed in over 2 months.
Yes, except at my birthday party, but it was private. So this is a public event, so everybody gets a chance to see her come back.
Yep.
Hey, Erica.
Yeah, it's her comeback concert, and she's having everybody, Tawana Campbell, Steven Spud Howard, Jason Tauber, Chrissy P, Butterfly, Keith Savage, and many, many more will grace the stage on Friday night, June 4th.
I need to order me something to wear.
Yes, if you want to get tickets, all you have to do to that or the Fredo Bang, all you need to do is go to EmpireLittleRock.eventbrite.com. Again, that's EmpireLittleRock.eventbrite.com to get tickets for any event that's at Empire, all right?
Yes.
So that's our sponsors. If you want to us to come, and we will do the show live on location, right, Netta?
Sure.
So you email that same email address?
Must be COVID-free.
Yes. And my wife had a thing last week where she said, make sure she has to try your products if she's going to do an ad for you.
Yes,
if she's going to do an endorsement,
yes.
She wants to make sure if it's anything that has to do with fashion, if it's anything that has to do with food, she wants to make sure that she's not on here lying. If she say it's good, it needs to be good. Everybody think their cooking is good, but everybody's food is not good. That's just true. Everybody's cooking is not good. So if we say it's good, it better be good. All right, we're not doing no endorsement.
And I don't eat out of everybody's kitchen either.
So there you have it. All right, so we're tell them where we're streaming at, right? Tell them our sources where they can pick us up at.
What? Oh, so okay, anywhere. So Anchor, Google, I say this all the time, it's Apple. So anywhere that you can listen to a podcast, wherever you can listen to a podcast, online, on mobile devices, any place you can listen to a podcast, we're there. And Love Wins by the Stewarts is where you're going to search. We are on season 3. Are we going to do a live taping this season?
You know, that cost, I mean, not cost, but that it takes so much to put that on.
I think we're going to do it. Yes, we are. Thank you. I agree. Thank you so much for coming
so
in. Yes,
we
will be doing live taping. Thank you.
I mean, when?
Yes, we will be doing a live taping. So every season we do a live taping, and that is always a phenomenal event. We have a panel of guests to come on, and it is amazing. So we will be doing a live taping this season as well. And also, we've kind of added this on, I guess, kind of late in season 1. We did this whole Facebook Live feature. So as we're filming live, we're on Facebook Live as well. So we do this so we can give it so you guys can have an opportunity to interact with us. So those of you that are on our live, that's joining our live, please make sure that you are very interactive with us. We want you to comment. We want you to ask questions. If you would like to be brought on the live, we'll bring you in live as well. If you want to expound on a topic and have a conversation, something that's going to be more than just a comment or a question, we'll bring you on the live. So we are currently on our Facebook Live. Probably our next episode, we'll probably do Instagram Live as well. So we can kind of be interactive with our Instagram audience. So we'll be on there. So make sure that you guys stay on our live, stay active with us. This show is going to be the bomb. So everything we do is pretty much the bomb. But nevertheless, this show is going to be the bomb. So make sure that you guys stay on. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure you share the video. You know, last week, one of our listeners shared the video. Shared our podcast, and somebody reported it. Somebody reported our podcast.
That means you're popping.
There was some hating stuff. Nevertheless, welcome to the life of the Stewarts.
Yep, right? that means you're popping when they start telling on you. When they start telling the police on you.
Welcome to the life of the Stewarts, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we want you to be interactive, right? So when you comment on here, please comment in full sentences because a lot of times your comments are delayed. And so a lot of times if you just say, yeah, that's right, B-Level, we don't know what you're saying, yeah, that's right, too. So say, yeah, that's right, B-Level, when you said so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. So we can comment because it is delayed, and sometimes we've moved on to another topic, and we're talking about something else when your comment comes up and we think you're liking or agreeing with us when you may be disagreeing.
Right.
So please comment in full sentences, but we do want you to be interactive. We answer them every so often. We take a break and we answer them. Go ahead and give some shout outs to who's on our live right now.
So we have, let's see, Autumn. Hey, Autumn. How are you?
What up,
we have Autumn. We have Ivory. What's up, Ivory? Ivory did the catering for my 40th birthday party. We have my niece, Ivory. Okay. Ivory did the catering for our 40th birthday party. And everybody was just rave reviews on the spinach dip and the meatballs, pretty much everything. But nevertheless, so Ivory, and then we have our niece, twin on. We have our nephew, right? Two twins. Yep. We have 2 twins. Yep. Yeah, whatever. So we have 2 twins, our niece and nephew. In-law related, not brother and sister, in-law related. Nevertheless. And then Erica. Hi, Erica.
Erica's on every week.
How are you? She is
we got to bring Erica back, right?
We're going to have to bring her back. I want her, if nothing else, to get back on to, there are so many people that join our live for Erica to get on and tell her story. And it was a story of, it was amazing. I admire her strength and her adversity for going through what she's going through. So we're going to have to get her back on to expound on that story and then also tell us how she made it through. It was really, really decent. Hello, Dee. How are you? Hey, y'all. So we'll get you back on. So, Erica, make sure you reach out to us so we can schedule some time to get you on. And we may even have you on the panel. Our panel might be different this year. Normally, our panel's messy, but we... It's not messy.
That messy stuff. We got a lot of messy people.
Normally, our panel is messy, but maybe we need to do. We're still going to be messy because that's what brings the people, right?
Keep in mind some of our guests that we've had. We've had the Womax.
We did.
Messy.
We did.
Bombi. Messy. Dee Jones. Messy.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Shell. Messy. Who else have we had on our live?
We had Tommy. And Christine.
Tommy B.
Yeah. Tommy B and Christine.
Messy.
We had T. Can't forget about T.
T Tara.
We had T.
Real messy. That girl's so damn messy. T-Tara is messy.
That's my girl. Listen, if anybody in Little Rock, North Little Rock, on Facebook, her name is T-Tara. When I tell you guys, she is the funniest person.
She talk too damn much.
Listen, and she gonna keep it real. One thing's for sure, she may talk too much, but she gonna keep it 100. So we gotta give it that. She gonna keep it 100. So we had her.
Gotta bring her back.
We definitely bring people ask us for her, so we have to bring her back.
Jesus.
And then we had, who else did we have? We had Dominique came on as well.
Dominique.
We had the all women's panel, which it consisted of, I think it was Farrah and it was Farrah and I had two other ladies. I forgot. I'm sorry. And then we had the all men's panel. So
which was No Name, Mike Ross, Bun B again.
This wasn't No Name.
No Name was. He was on our All Guys panel. No Name was.
Oh.
Yeah, and Mike Ross, they were on it as well.
Maybe so. Nevertheless, so we're going to do our panel again this season. Everybody loves the panel. Like everybody loves the panel. The panel is thebomb.com. So we'll do that this season. Probably maybe 4th, 5th episode. Maybe we'll do that when Empire allows us back in Empire Studios and we're not filming from home.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So what's going on? So what are we talking about today?
So
what's up?
what's been trending on social media this week? All right. So we decided to talk about it. It's the big unacceptable attire that they've got up at Cannibal and Craft, right? I mean, everybody was talking. We was traveling this weekend, but we stayed.
Yeah, it happened like Saturday, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
It was
Saturday. I guess it's when they shared it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you, this topic has been strolling all through my social media. Everybody is sharing it. Everybody is liking it. We want to get your comments on it. What you guys think about it?
Have you guys seen it? Have you guys seen the dress code that was?
Well, I'm going to read
posted?
it. I'm going to read it, or you read it. You go ahead and read it. This is what they're saying. The dress code has to be.
I haven't been to Cannibal and Craft yet. However, I think it's a restaurant, maybe entertainment venue downtown Little Rock.
It's the old Ernie Biggs, right?
I think so. So it's downtown Little Rock, and it's Cannibal and Craft. So they put this dress code, and it says unacceptable attire. So the unacceptable attire that they listed was
wear.
These are things that you cannot wear and attend their establishments. Baggy jeans, ripped jeans, cutoffs or sleeveless shirts, sports affiliated jerseys, t-shirts or hats, gang or club affiliated colors, patches or jackets, sunglasses worn on the inside, backwards hats, beanies, white t-shirts, shorts, sweatpants, leggings, excessive jewelry, and gold chains. Well, damn, you gotta be naked.
You can't wear nothing in the damn place.
You have to be naked then, right?
Damn. So everybody is saying that that either the business. Well, let's go back. I'm not going to put words in. What they're saying is they don't want blacks to come there because of this dress code, right?
Just to expound on why it was such a big issue. So based on the comments that I've seen, the reason why it was shared so much and it was such a big issue is because most audience of people were saying that this dress code wasn't enforced or put up until a big African-American event took place.
Really? So I didn't know that.
Yeah. So apparently
that's when the sign went up.
Yes. Apparently last week or a couple of weeks ago, there was an event that took place that was hosted by an African American or some African American promoters or something. It was an event, and it was African American attendees. So most people are saying that this was posted after that event. However, I've seen a couple of other people say, no, this was posted when I went back in February, but it is just now, I guess,
they
really kind of.
to it.
Yes. So I don't know. I'm not sure because I haven't attended, but I'm not sure when it was posted. But the problem and the issue is that it's posted, and most people are just saying, based on the dress code that you're saying, based on the things you're saying people can't wear, you're basically saying you just don't want African Americans to attend because most items that's on that list are things that African American people wear to entertainment venues. They're going to wear when they attend something. If they attend a nightclub or an entertainment venue, these are most of the things that they're going to wear.
So let's talk about these things that we think are exclusive to blacks, right? Because we're all saying that you don't want the blacks come. So baggy jeans. I mean, white and black people wear baggy jeans, right? Ripped jeans. Is that a cultural thing for blacks?
That's a diversity. That's a diverse thing. That's a diverse item.
Cut off sleeves.
That's a diverse item as well.
Sports affiliated jerseys, t-shirts, and hats.
That's a diverse item as well.
Okay. Gang, club affiliated. What do they mean by gang slash
I think
club
wearing
affiliated?
like all red for blood, or wearing blue for crip,
And
or
somebody
black.
was even saying that it has a lot to do with fraternities and sororities too. When they say gang
I don't
club
think
affiliated,
it's I don't think it's I don't think it's sorority or fraternity spoken. I think it's really
Just
what
the
they're
red and blue.
I think it's just colors that they feel like can be gang affiliated, and it says patches or things. So
colors. Well, patches could be sorority or
That's
fraternity
true.
jackets,
That's true.
right? Sunglasses worn inside, which you hate.
I
right?
hate that. I never understood that. I never understood that.
Backwards hats. I mean,
That's a diverse thing as well.
yeah. I mean, beanies.
That's a diverse thing as well.
White t-shirts. I wear white tees, V-neck t-shirts all the time. It's clean. It's
Yes.
crisp looking. Sweatpants.
Everybody wears those.
Yep. Leggings. A lot of black ladies wear leggings.
White women does too. Everybody
Okay.
wears those.
All right. Okay. Now here's where we get sticky. Excessive jewelry. Is that a cultural thing?
That is a cultural thing.
That's your rings and I got on my necklace now. I have a ring. Excessive gold chains.
Yes.
So one or more mean excessive a lot.
They said excessive jewelry, but
Excessive jewelry. Yes.
gold chains. They don't want gold chains either.
So here's my thing. Me being an owner of a venue, I'm not going to go as far to say that they're racist, but I will say that they don't want the black dollar. Like, if they would put something out in public, and I think they were called out on it. Somebody emailed the home office.
They did.
And we've got to find the response too, so that we can read the response.
So the response pretty much from the corporate entity. So I guess it's a corporate entity, and so
Yes.
corporations can be bought. So a corporation that was bought from a private owner, I'm assuming, that's kind of what happened. So the corporate entity spoke out basically and said, this business is owned by an individual, and maybe they worded the dress code incorrectly. That's not really what was meant. That is not what our business stands for.
And they said
Whatever.
they encouraged them to change it too.
They
right?
did encourage them to
They kind of
change.
threw them under the bus
Yes,
a little
they
bit.
encouraged them to change the wording. Okay, let me just. I'm kind of straddling the fence on this, and so you guys that are tuning in to live, please comment and let us know how you feel about this. So I'm kind of straddling the fence. It's a catch-22 for me. So I believe in having vibes in different places. There is nothing wrong as a business owner to have an expectation for your venue. There's nothing wrong with that. Is it stereotypical? Absolutely. I think a lot of times, because, but prior to opening Empire, you guys had a dress code. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You guys had a dress code.
We did.
I remember going to Jazzy's, and Jazzy said that you had to wear collared shirts.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Ernie Biggs. Ernie Biggs had a dress code. So I want us to always understand, is the wording done incorrectly? Are a lot of other items that's on the dress code seems more catered to African Americans? Absolutely. But please don't make them feel guilty for wanting to have an opinion or wanting to have control over who supports their business. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Can it seem racially motivated? Absolutely. But that's just a bad part of that's a part of business. Like, they have a right to decide who attends their business and what vibe they're looking for. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, there's an other side to that. My other side to that is that it does seem like it is just some of the items that are depicted on that list, the excessive jewelry, the colors, patches, jackets, it can seem fraternity, sorority, the D9 fraternity, sororities, because a lot of, from what I've seen, a lot of Caucasian fraternities, sororities, whatever, they're not as color-driven. It's not really so much of that. So I don't know. I'm kind of, you guys tell us how you feel about it. But I do not think that there's anything wrong with the business wanting to decide who they would like to patronize their business based on what they're looking for in retrospect of their business.
Well, I agree with you to some standpoint. It's all right to put a dress code. So you set the tone of what you want your audience to look like, what you want, what kind of people you want to patronize your business. And I do agree with you when you say, I think they went a lot, not a little excessive. I think they went a lot excessive by saying gold chains. I think that's a cultural thing. Hat to the back, whites, black, all wear their hats to the back.
They do.
And then I think the other unique thing about it is the timing on this. They didn't adhere to it. Some people are saying it was up. They were doing it but they wasn't adhering to it until this big, African American event
took place.
went, and
right.
so now they're posting it and being this. This is what I would say today. You have a choice to decide where you want to go.
That's true.
You have a choice. If somebody is doing something that you feel like is an assault on your culture, you don't have to go there. There's other places. You could come to Empire. Come to Empire. But this is not a thing for Empire. I think so many times we patronize people, and I will say this for our culture. The thing that we'd have is our spending power.
Absolutely.
So if you think somebody is on some racial stuff, don't spend any money with them. There are several bars that you could patronize in the River Market that's not going to say they don't want you to have gold chains. They don't want you to have colors.
That's true.
And make it seem like they don't want the black dollar. Because I'll tell you, the black dollar is very important. The spending power of black people is nationally trending. We spend more money on partying. We spend more money on our clothes. Our clothes, some of those things that they're banning cost more than just stuff that everybody else wears a lot of times. So I will say, if you think that somebody doesn't respect your buying power, don't respect you as a customer, then you shouldn't patronize their business.
Absolutely.
You have the right to skip that bar, that tavern, that place, and go somewhere else. Because I will tell you, there are a lot of people that don't want blacks in their restaurant and clubs. Let's just face it. We're not going to sit on here and act like everybody. Now, I'm going to say this. Sometimes we don't know how to act. Now sometimes our people, they don't know how to act.
Well, it's not just us. So let's put that out there. We just seem to be the most, it's kind of under more scrutiny, but let's be very clear. I have been in Electric Cowboy and seen a damn brawl break out. I've been in Midtown Billiard and seen a brawl break out. So let's understand that it is not just us African American people that are violent. It's not us African American people that are fighting, or it is just us. We have the more scrutiny for doing so, but it happens in every culture.
Absolutely.
It happens in every race, every culture, every ethnicity. It happens everywhere. So again, I think it is just, it's who you choose to support in your business. That's just who it is. And so, I think, and we as a people, I'm speaking as African Americans. I know y'all be thinking I'm another race, but
you black.
We as African Americans, or not even African Americans, we as people have a right to decide who we choose to patronize. And outside of that, we have our buying power. Like, if we would get in our minds, like, we have buying power and we can determine how for a business to thrive or not do so well, we have that. Like, if we would just get that mentality and understand the mentality of, those that choose not to support my culture, my family, or what my wishes are, what I choose to do, who I choose to patronize my money with, whatever, just don't deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're putting us in the box, because what I've seen all over social media for the last 2 days, they're putting us in a box. They don't want us to come.
Don't go.
Don't go.
That's exactly what I said.
Because one thing I do know for sure is, in the nightlife, African Americans are going to spend the most money when it comes to nightlife. So if you feel like they're talking about you and they don't want you to patronize their business, then don't come.
And,
don't go. And do it as a whole. That's a problem. You have to do it as a whole so it can really hurt them in their pockets. It can't be one or two people. Right. I'm just not going to go because I'm offended. Or one or two people say, I'm not going to go to the event this week, but then next week, some promoters that y'all like, or they have an event there, y'all going to go there and patronize. You're not doing any good. Yes. So.
And for some odd reason, our people love, and I say our people love to flock some of the businesses that are down there. You have, bars and tavern that are down. Not only my place, you have Twi, you have Envy used to be, you have Club 428, you have what's the other place? 428 and the old Jazzy's. We love to go places in the River Market. For some odd reason, when those promoters get together and they have events, they're well attended. And I think we just when I was a promoter, when I would have an event at a place in the River Market, it would sell out faster than when I had an event at Envy. Mm-hmm. For some odd reason, our people like patronizing those places. And I don't know, sometimes people say they don't get to go there often. But this is the type of thing that we deal with when we spend our dollar outside. Here's what I do, and this is just me. if I'm going to buy anything, if I'm going to get any repairs done to my car, if I'm going to hire, I always look and see if I can spend my dollar with my culture. That's my number one thing. Now, sometimes, our culture, sometimes our businesses are not right. But if I can get a great service within my neighborhood, my community, I'm going to spend money in my neighborhood and in my community.
See, that's why I have a difference of opinion. I'm going to hire who can get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let me just say this. I patronize a lot of small businesses because I shop a lot.
You do?
So I patronize a lot of small businesses.
I got the evidence on that.
Some things I don't even need, but to patronize a small business, it means a lot to me because I feel like it's it's a give back. So absolutely, in most circumstances, I do want to spend my dollar in my culture. Nevertheless, I'm going to pay who can get the job done. I don't care if you're Mario and Hispanic. I don't care if you're John and you're white. I don't care if you're Dante, you're African American. I'm gonna pay. I just want the job done. When I pick up the phone and call the Yellow Pages or I search Google, I'm not searching for African American plumbers. I'm not searching for African American builders. I'm searching for who can get the job done. And so there are some people that think like that. There are some people that think like I want to spend my money with my people, and that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking that.
So
all I'm saying is just do the job for me.
And you were saying about hiring. When I'm hiring, if I have an applicant who is equally qualified. Now we're not saying one is more qualified than the other. If I have a Caucasian or another race interview with me, and I have an opportunity to hire an African American, and they're equally qualified. Now, I want you to understand what I'm saying. Not now, if that person is more you shaking your head. You just said I have the right to be different from you. But if they're equally qualified, I'm always going to hire the minority. That's just me. And I guess that's why we're different.
And
we're cool. We're cool with being different.
Okay, I'm gonna read some of these comments and I'm gonna respond to that. So D Wade says everyone needs to hear this topic about the thing. And then Jason says they don't know how to act under the influence either. He said we were just talked about in the threat. Jason, I totally agree. D says I'm with you, Miss Netta. That might be my problem. Just get the job done. I don't care what color or who you are. LOL. That's just me. Okay, so let me just say this. I don't want you guys to think that I'm against my people. I'm not against my people.
As much money as you spend with these boutiques, you can't be against
Let me just say that it's not even about just small business or just that. I'm not against my people. But yet and still, and just the way the corporate world is, and just the way, not even just the corporate world, just the way the world is now, your statement just made is very discriminatory. So now, let me just say this. You are a business owner.
Yes.
So now you can have a waitress to come because of the statement you just made, but you probably should have made that publicly. But the statement you just made, if you have a waitress to come in and apply for a job as a waitress, or you have someone, a white, African, a Hispanic, or a Caucasian person to come in and apply for one of those jobs, and they didn't get that job, you just set yourself up for a lawsuit for no apparent reason.
That's what you think.
No. It's not what I think. It's you can't listen. You cannot say. If there's so many ways to give back to your African American community and your culture than giving them precedence over someone because of a skin color. See, what black people fail to realize is that we're racist too, because the statement you just made is a racist statement.
That's what you're saying.
No.
I'm gonna let you talk, then I'll explain.
Let me say this: if you're sitting in front, and I want you guys that's watching this to chime in and say, if you're sitting down and you having a conversation with a Caucasian male,
yes,
and he says, Brian, if I have a secretary position open, and a white woman come in and apply for that position, that's as equally talented as a black woman that's applied for that same position, I'm probably going to hire the white woman. You will be screaming to the top of your lungs that is racist, that is discriminatory. How could you do that? I know y'all racist. That just proved my point.
You know why? I wouldn't do it.
You would.
I'm just telling you me.
Tell me why.
You telling me what I'm gonna. You know why I wouldn't do it? Because they do it anyway.
It's not the point. Here's the thing.
And so let me reply to it though. Let me reply to that.
It's one thing to do it. Right?
Right.
We know they do it.
Yeah.
I do it.
Well, you just as guilty then.
You're listening. It's one thing to do it, but it's a whole nother thing to say something like that. You don't make a blatant statement to make people feel that, because as I'm saying to you as a business owner, what I'm saying to you is you now have a statement that you've made that you can be legally held by.
You cannot.
Yes, you can.
No, you cannot.
All these people, listen, your cousin, your
gotta
first
let me
cousin
talk,
is.
man.
Just let me explain it.
Okay.
You just left an employer where you feel like a lot of decisions that was made because of a discriminatory manager or a discriminatory supervisor, right?
Right.
The way the corporate world works is just that. There's nothing. Is there something wrong with thinking it and doing it and not saying it? Yeah. No. Yes, there's something wrong with it. But it's one thing to act up on it and do it. It's a whole nother thing to make a blatant statement. Okay. That's what the EEOC is for. That's what discrimination laws are set in place for. You cannot blatantly say that because you want to give back to your culture and your community. If someone comes in with the same qualifications as an African American and white, you're going to hide that because you're giving back to your culture.
Now,
you can't say that.
Now, can I respond?
Yeah, but you can't say that.
Without you interrupting?
I can't even believe you said that.
So guess what? I own a company, right? So there are always companies that refer to hiring minorities over regular. They hire women over guys. Now, I said if they were equally qualified. Now, the kicker is they have to be equally qualified. Mm-hmm. There are companies that specialize in hiring minorities. My company is no different from Ford and all of these other public companies. Mm-hmm. That's your opinion. And that's why I love America, because you can't disagree. What I said is if they're equally qualified, I'm going to hire the minority. If they're equally qualified, I'm not going to do my business any injustice in hiring them if they're not equally qualified. But if they are companies that specialize in hiring minorities. So no. I didn't say fire.
No. There are companies.
I knew you weren't gonna let me finish.
There are companies that respond and acts to diversity. Because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I have seen companies like JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo. I have seen a lot of corporate entities to add diversified supervisors, diversified managers, a diversified team of people.
Right.
I've seen them hire those people to have them closer relate to people that are of a different background. Does not mean that they're saying because of Black Lives Matter, we're going to hire black people. No,
I didn't say that.
It's just saying that they're adding this program of people or supervisors or managers or this department to bring in a more different culture of people than what's been happening, all because of what's been going on.
Bridget, you got some comments.
I'm going to read the comment, but all I'm saying is, does it happen? Yes. But as a business owner and being in the corporate world and being in the position that you're in, you can't make a blatant statement like that.
Yes, I can.
You cannot. Because I'm 100% sure, again, if we were sitting having a conversation with, the statement that I just gave, we were sitting having a conversation with the Caucasian male, and he's a Caucasian male or female, and they said that to you, that would be the first thing that you would be screaming. That's discrimination. Why would you say that? Why would you do that?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't have. What I said, I can't
believe you said that.
I did. If they're equally, and I'll say it again, if they're equally qualified.
I think that's ridiculous to say.
If they're equally qualified, I'm going to hire the minority. That's the way it is.
I want you to, when we get out this live, I'm going to make him, Brian has a close relative in his family that is a very prominent attorney, and I'm going to have him to call him, and we're going to come back and talk to this next week, because I'm really in shock, that he said that openly like that,
yes.
Especially with what he has experienced with his previous employer, what he has seen his wife experience with other employers.
I'm not saying.
You can't backtrack. Don't backtrack.
What I'm saying is I'm not going to treat anybody unfair.
That is unfair.
What I said, that's your opinion.
That is unfair.
That's your opinion. I respect it, long as you respect mine.
I know you're more intelligent than that. That is unfair. That's the reason why discrimination laws are in place. There's a reason why EEOC exists.
So tell me
because of that reason. That is why.
Tell me why that's discriminating when you say if they're equal.
Let me give you a classic example. Let me use myself.
Give you my example.
No, I'm using myself as an example.
Okay.
You know that I've been in branch management for a really long time.
Right.
You know that there was prior branch managers before me.
Right.
That were of another race.
Yes.
They were giving other rights that I wasn't allowed to have.
That's different.
Hold on.
Okay.
We were equally qualified, or I was better qualified.
What I didn't say it, I would treat them differently.
Brian.
What I did not say is once you got to let me. This is a conversation. That's
you're trying to fix it.
No,
and you
I'm
didn't
not.
let me finish my example.
What
you
I'm
didn't let me
saying
finish my
is
example.
we have two different opinions.
No. You didn't let me finish my example.
Okay, go ahead.
I just said, you know that I have been as equally qualified.
Yes.
Or better qualified
yes.
than those that were in the roles before me that was given probably better positions
yes.
or the same positions that I've had. But because
yes.
of their skin color, they have more rights than I have. You know that yourself that that's discriminatory. If we have equal qualifications and you know that I had equal and better and was still looked over, that's discriminatory.
But that's what I'm telling you. And hopefully I can give you the same courtesy that hopefully you give me the same courtesy. Is that's different. What I did not say is that I would treat them differently. What I did not say is that I wouldn't shop with them. What I said that I'm going to go there. That's going to be my first go. That's what, and I have a right to spend my money or hire whoever I want to hire. I'm
talking about spending money. That's not what you said.
I said hire.
What you said was if there's people that are equally talented and have equal qualifications, you're probably going to select the minority before you. And I don't understand how you don't understand that that's an indifference of that is discriminatory. I don't understand how you don't see. That's just like what women are facing now. Mm-hmm. We have women that are as qualified or better qualified as men, but because they are a woman, they don't get the same treatment or the same position. That's what you just said. You said that in so many words.
What I said, the minority. I'm going to hire the woman. If a black woman and a black man comes and they're both equally qualified, I'm going to hire the black woman. I'm going to hire the minority. That's exactly what I said.
Brian, that is exactly what I just said. It's just
okay. You're saying it's in reverse, though. You're saying that women are looked over. I'm saying that I'm going to always hire the minority.
What I'm saying to you is EEOC is in place for things like this. The way that you can sue somebody for discrimination, it has to do with race.
Right.
Sex.
Is that a race thing?
Yes, that's race.
No, that's not.
Brian.
That's race.
Listen, you guys that are on here, I want you to understand, and that's why we are just so programmatically just so fucked up in the mind, because we automatically believe that Caucasian people can be racist, and we cannot.
I don't believe that.
The statement that you made was very racist. You cannot, in a corporate entity or in today's world, as a business owner, say that if you get a bartender that come in that's African American and a bartender that comes in that's Caucasian, and if they have the same qualifications, because they are a minority, you're going to offer them a job.
Okay.
That is in the same business as a white person saying, if I have the same thing, Brian, if a white person says that in the same manner that you did, this is the reason why lawsuits exist.
What you just said, we'll get an attorney on, because if you understand the nature of my house, you don't always have to be right. And I think you always think you're right. I have a right to hire who I want to hire. And what I want to be clear, what I'm saying is if I have two people applying for a job and they're equally talented, I'm going to hire the minority. And you're saying, hold on, you want to saying that I could get a lawsuit for that. So let's get let's get an attorney. And if the attorney says he has that right, that's not a legal lawsuit, then I want you to say I was wrong. We'll do that. Let's do that.
Listen, I'm not going to say shit because I'm telling you.
Because you think you're right all the time.
What I know I'm right about is because of what I've experienced. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is you're not just no average Joe out here. You own a business.
Yes.
And you have to understand that things that you say in retrospect of that, the things that you say can be held against you. You cannot. Listen. We know you black. You black as hell. You're black. You're African American. Your mama black. Your daddy black. There's nothing wrong with that. We know that you are 100% down for your people. That's fine. More power to you, black power. Black lives matter. I don't have nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But as a business owner, you can't make statements like that. And you have to understand that is discriminatory in practice. There are so many ways you can give back to your community and support your culture than hire a minority just because they're a minority. Okay. That is just like I just said. That is just like just a name. Let's just say that Mr. Gleason, Mr. Gleason is a CEO of Bank of the Ozarks.
Right.
That is just like Mr. Gleason saying, Shanetta, you're an African American branch manager. I have Susan that's an African American branch manager. But because I want to get back to my European people, I'm going to hire Susan.
And that also
Tell me what's wrong with that.
And that also extends to men and women.
I want you to tell me what's wrong with that.
I don't have to answer that.
Yes, you do. Tell me what's wrong with that.
What I'm saying is, if a man applies and a woman applies, and they're equally qualified, I'm going to hire the woman. If a black person applies and a white person applies, they're equally qualified, I'm going to hire the black. I'm going to hire the minority. That's the way I run my business. That's the way it is.
What I'm telling you is, I don't give a damn. You in your mind, you think that because you own the business, you can run the business as you. Listen,
okay.
You don't like to listen.
Okay, go ahead.
You think as a business owner, because you own the business, you can run the business as you so choose. That's not the case. Your black ass can be sued just like anybody else can be sued.
I totally get that.
Reason
I've been sued before.
That is the reason why things are in place. And what I'm trying to tell you is because we have probably been in the corporate world as evenly as each other. And what I'm telling you is to protect your ass, so you won't think you just won't be wrong on live. You cannot make a blank statement like that because that's discriminatory. I want you to understand that is a discriminatory statement to make as a business owner, and that can be held against you.
And I think that's your opinion.
I think that's the truth. Let's get an attorney on the line because I just text. Okay, I'm gonna read you guys a statement because it's just so fucked up. I don't understand. Let's see. Autumn says I agree with Miss Stewart, and Dee says I think it's just a corporate view versus the way the world really is right now, and where we're having to face. Example, police brutality, but I think both are extremely valid points and considerable. Jason says EEOC, I think is what he was saying. Dee says, replying to Jason, she said, I was just about to say that. Jason says businesses don't and won't say it though, Brian. They may do it, but they don't and won't say it. Jason says by EEOC, law is considered unfair, and as a business owner, it would be considered unlawful and discrimination by considering maturity over classifications. Dee says, I do agree with the lawsuit statement with it being public as an establishment owner, but I'm interested in finding out the answer. Jason says it's okay to run your business like that, Brian. Just don't say it publicly because white people do it all the time. Ashley says, okay. Ashley says, okay, I see what she's saying. It's how you say it. Y'all, let's be very clear.
He said eating dinner.
Let's be very clear in this conversation. Like, I don't want you guys to think that, I'm just so against our culture, because I'm not. Again, as I said, I am so pro-black. I mean, I have African American parents, and that's my family, whatever. Nevertheless, because of things that I have been, and this may sound so fucked up, but it's the truth. Because I have a little bit fairer skin, sometimes I get some precedence over other people that may have a darker complexion. Is that fucked up? It is
that's real.
It is absolutely messed up. There are two things. I have had people to interview me or to look out to recruit me for positions that have said, this will work for you because you're, not because I'm fair skinned, but because you're an attractive woman. Like, do you not understand that that's discriminatory?
That is.
But what I'm saying to this is that what I'm trying to get my husband to understand is you run a successful business. There is just certain things you run your business how you run your business. I don't give a damn if you want to sell chicken out of the Don Julio bottle. That's your business. Mm-hmm. But there are laws to protect people, minority or non-minority. There are laws to protect the statements that you made and such. There are so many different things you could do to give back to your community rather than making somebody that's not a minority feel like they can't come work to you because if they're not as qualified, or if they're overqualified, or if they're as qualified as a minority, you're going to choose the minority over them just because you feel like that's a give back thing. And what I'm trying to get our audience and to you to understand, we are so quick and so critical to point at the white person. You're racist, you're discriminatory, you're racist. But we ourselves be racist in so many different forms and so many opportunities. We can be racist. And
I agree with that
it's frustrating too. And it's a little bothersome with what happens in today's world that we don't accept it, and we don't understand that there are so many different provisions to giving back to our culture than feeling like to put them ahead or to give them something that they may not deserve just because of a skin color is as racist as a Hispanic doing it or somebody of another ethnicity. That's all I'm saying.
And I think the word that you said was something that they didn't deserve, because if they equally qualify, both of them deserve it. But you only have one position, so I think that's where it gets. And so that I let you explain yourself. The thing about it is, I don't think that I'm racist because I say that I choose to hire the minority over the other person. I'm gonna and I do that with race as well. I do that with gender. I do that because the female is the minority, so I do it with the female. So, but I do think we do need to have an attorney to get on to answer that question, and see if that could be legal action because I've made that statement to be public. Just like the Cannibal and Craft, they're saying this is who they want to patronize and this is how they want to dress. You have a right to not patronize that. You have a right to go try to work somewhere else other than my place. But anyway, we do need to get in an answer.
Somebody says minority. Let's see. D says, I agree that they look to sue us faster than our Caucasian friends, but you're speaking from a real hood baby heart. LOL. So very understood, Mr. Brian. Jason says minority. Oh, he was spell checking. D says, Ms. Netta, that's why I don't speak on situations like this, because I think we African Americans jump the broom faster than anyone, but sometimes it's not even like that. I do too. And partially, what really brought this up, really, Dee, is partially a lot of the comments that I saw. Excuse me. Ooh, a lot of the comments that I saw about the Cannibal and Craft automatically went to, are they racist?
Yes.
Like, it automatically went to, they just don't want black people in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's not my business. You know, Cannibal and Craft is not my business. I haven't spoken to the owner. I haven't done any of that. So I don't know if it was racially motivated or not. I'm pretty sure if we spoken to the owner, he or she would absolutely say, no, it was not racially motivated. It is just kind of what I'm looking for in my expectations. Who admits to racially motivated decisions? Who admits to that? Nobody admits to being discriminatory. Nobody admits to being racist, which again, that's why there are laws in place for that. So, D, I agree in saying that a lot of the times when things like this happen, because of everything that's kind of going on now and things that our ancestors have been through and just a lot of things that's kind of taking place present day, past, we automatically jump to it's racially motivated, it's discriminatory. It is an automatic jump to that. And sometimes it's just not. Sometimes, let me just say this Cannibal and Craft thing can go two different ways. It could just be, the Cannibal and Craft thing could just be, there is a certain vibe, a certain issue they're trying to create from, just don't want to happen. It could just be something as innocent as that. But because some of the items that they put on their list of dress code that they don't want people to wear, some people just took it to, okay, they just don't want black people there. But it just had a huge, I knew they had the event because I saw a lot of African American people there, and I was like, oh, this place must be new. So,
all right. So Antoine, he's gonna come in. Who's an attorney at what firm is he at?
Wright, Lindsay and Jennings.
Wright, Lindsay and Jennings. He's gonna come in.
Lindsay and Jennings.
Okay. How do we bring him into this? Do we request him? Does he request us? How does he get in on our live?
He can get on live and just request us. He can watch the live, and then when he joins the live, it would say request to join. So you guys kind of tell me what you think about it. I've seen a lot of your comments, but all I'm trying to tell y'all, and all I want y'all to understand is we too can be racist. We too can be. As a hiring manager, I hire people. I hire those who's best for the job, whether it's professional or whether it's personal. I'm going to hire who's best for the job. There are so many opportunities for me to give back to my community. You know what I'm saying? There are I don't use my position of power to give back to my community. Now, let me just say this. My position of power in to give back to my community comes from when I give y'all financial literacy. It comes from when I do these live videos. It comes from if I come to your school or church and I'm talking to your kids about opening up accounts or saving money or credit. That's my giving back to my people and my culture to help you guys have knowledge that you don't understand. Do I hire people in as a hiring manager? Do I hire African Americans? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I always hire who's going to be better suited for it. I don't care if you're Hispanic, if you can't speak a lick of English, I'm going to hire who's going to be best suited for me because there are so many different opportunities for me to give back in it. And I never want anybody to feel that because I'm in a position of power to help you or to do.
Do you know that there are businesses that specialize in hiring convicted felons over other people? There are businesses that specialize in hiring who they want to employ. It may be for tax breaks. It may be for anything. So what I'm telling you is, I do understand, hey, you don't have a preference. I have a preference. And
what I'm telling you is that's illegal.
Okay. Well, we'll get he said that he's going to join in and we'll answer that.
That's just like saying I'm going to hire all Muslims. If you're not a Muslim, you can't come work for me at McDonald's.
That's not what I said. I did not say they couldn't. What I said,
you didn't say that they couldn't, Brian. But what I'm telling you is that I don't want you to. Here's what I don't want you to.
I think
what
you're saying.
I don't want to happen is I don't want you to. I don't want to sound condescending, and I also don't want you to focus on the part that doesn't matter because the part that matters is the statement that you made, which is a very blatant statement. And what I'm trying to tell you is that you are a business owner and you can be held liable for things that you say,
and I agree.
And they can be held
100% know
against
that.
you. And what I'm trying to also get you to understand is that nobody's telling you not to give back to your people. Give back to.
He said he's trying to get in on the live.
Antoine, all you have to do is if you request, and I can. If you request to join a live, then I can bring you on. Let me see if
but
it's
I think
right
you have to do it on your phone and not that.
No.
Last time we couldn't do it on that. We could do it on our phone.
He hadn't requested yet. Hold on. Nope, he hadn't requested yet. Yeah. So we're gonna bring Antoine on. Let me see if I can just invite him on without him trying to do it. Let's see.
Yeah, I think you got to try to.
Nope, he has to request it.
If you're on, Antoine, please request to come in. But I think we could. I think the last time we tried that, we could only do it on the phone.
But it's not even come through on the phone yet. Let's see. Let me see. What's the legal question about hiring? Let's see. Okay, Antoine. So there wasn't a legal question about hiring. So we were talking about, just to give you a brief synopsis to see if we can add you and get you on the live.
You want to just call in and put it on speakerphone? Can we do that?
Yeah,
okay.
I guess we could do that.
We're gonna call you, Antoine, so we could get your voice on. So I'm about to call your phone, so just answer. Here we go.
He says he's on. Hold on.
Oh, he said he's on?
No, he's not.
Is he on?
He says I'm on, but he's not. Hold on. Let's see. He's on live. Antoine, we don't need you to go live. Hold on.
We'll call you.
He's live. Hold on.
All right, we're calling him.
You just gonna have me on telephone?
Yes. So I've got you on speakerphone. We're on podcast. And let me just catch you up to where we are. We started off talking about the Cannibal and Craft situation that I know you're familiar with because you shared it on your deal. And then what I told them, we got into, my wife and I was just saying, and here's what I said I told my wife that if I have a position that's available at Empire, and let's say it's a white person, and let's say it's a black person, and I said they're equally qualified. Neither one of them, the white person is not more qualified, the black person is not more qualified. If they're equally qualified, I'm always going to hire the minority. I said if there's a lady and there's a guy.
No. Don't go too far.
Please
stay
me.
there.
But I gotta
stay there.
And I said if there's a female and there's a male applying for a job and they're equally qualified, I'm going to always hire the female. And what my wife said is I am opening myself up for a lawsuit because I made that statement. Is that grounds for a lawsuit?
That you didn't. We weren't talking about the second part. So Antoine, let's be very clear because Brian kind of go on a tangent. What I said to him, what he said was just the initial part, which was if I have two people that are equally qualified, I'm going to hire the minority just because it's the minority. What I said to him is, Brian, that is discriminatory. You cannot, first of all, as a business owner, you can hire who you want to hire. And let's be very clear. People do this all the time. It may be African American, or it may be another ethnicity. That's fine. But to say that is what I'm trying to get them to understand. As a business owner, that opens you up to so many different discriminatory practices of saying that just because you want to give back to your culture and because this person is a minority, you're going to always give them the precedence than someone else just because they're a minority.
Okay. So is that grounds for a lawsuit, Antoine? And first of all, we've got Antoine.
That question is loaded from a lot of different perspectives. So is it ground for a lawsuit? Yes, because anybody can sue you for anything.
Okay, hold on. Antoine, we've got Antoine Phillip, who's a partner at, give him the firms. Give the firm again.
Lindsay and Jenny.
Okay,
right.
All right. This is who, in case you're just joining in,
Like, he's
that's
a
who
real
we have
attorney.
on the
It's
phone.
not like, yeah.
No, okay.
Yes.
Right. So I appreciate y'all having me on. What they say all the time, long time listener, first time caller. So just as a basic level, when it comes to lawsuit, people can sue you for anything at any point. There's nothing stopping anyone from suing anybody. Now, whether it's a valid claim, I think it's what you're getting at. So that's kind of a different question. So from a hiring perspective, as a business owner, Shanetta is correct. You can hire whoever you want to, long as you're not demonstrating discriminatory practices. Now, if your preference as a hiring person is, hey, these people are twins and one's black and one's white, and you choose a black one, you can do that. You shouldn't state that's the reason why you're doing it, because it just allows people to make an argument against you.
Okay.
Now, whether that's a legitimate claim or not, whether they will win because you hired someone else over them, probably not. But does that give them ground to say, I didn't get this job because I'm white? Then yes, they could make that argument. Now, is that a winning argument? Probably not. But as a business owner, you have the right to hire whoever you want to hire, whether they were equally qualified or not. I mean, you could say, on a scale of 1 to 10, the black person was an 8 and the white person was a 9, and I chose the black person. Well, you can do that. And nobody stopping you from doing that. But by stating that that's going to be your
practice
policy,
then
you are opening yourself up for someone to make that argument against you, because now they can say, I didn't get this job because I'm white. I didn't get this job because my religion. I didn't get my job because of my sex. And those are only the protected categories that really, sexual orientation, that really matter in that regard. So you couldn't just say, well, I didn't get this job because I'm 5'6" and the other person 6'2".
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you being short is not a protected category. But your race, your gender, your religion, and in some places your sexual orientation are protected categories where you could open yourself up to that type of, if it was a known policy. If that's just what you did, and you just say, hey, this is what I do. And then that's just what you do. But if it's a known policy, someone could bring a lawsuit against you, say, hey, I didn't get this job because of my X, Y, or Z.
Right.
That doesn't mean they win. That doesn't mean you lose your business. That doesn't mean you got to hire them back. But the argument could be made.
And so Antoine, how does that differ when it becomes like there are companies that specialize in hiring convicted felons because they want to put them back, they get tax breaks because of that? Or there are companies that specialize in hiring minorities. How does that differentiate that from the statement that I made?
Well, no, so that there are companies that and I can't believe I'm forgetting the right word. Their goal, their aim is to hire more of those people. So they make that known and those people apply. But that doesn't mean that they have a policy that says, I will not hire someone who's not a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Which is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Now you're saying, unless you went to jail, you can't work here.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't say that.
Right.
You would say we're opening it up to second chance folks, so them are the people that you get. So it makes it easier on you to make that argument because, like, hey, everybody who applied was someone who's a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Or everyone who applied was this type of person. So you can make that known that you are looking for those type of people. I mean, the same thing in the corporate world. You know, clients now, our clients in our law firm, our clients want their lawyers to have a diverse law firm. So they say, hey, if you want my business, if I'm, big ABC corporation, and if Antoine wants my business, he needs to have a diverse law firm. So that means that we got to get more diverse people.
Mm-hmm.
So then that means someone can say, oh, well, I wasn't diverse, so I didn't get the job.
Right.
But that we can't make that the thing. We can't say we're only hiring black people. The next 10 people we hire are going to be black.
Right.
You can't do that. But can we have the aim to target those type of people? That's completely fine.
So the wife was right.
For that, in that sense, she was right.
Damn, Antoine.
No.
But, B-Love, I will say, in the legal context, it's always it's a depend because anybody can sue you for anything.
Right. Right.
So can someone make an argument? Yes. Does that mean it's a winning argument? It's a lot of different factors that go into that, whether it's a legitimate lawsuit that someone can win on. But could someone sue you for that? They could. But they could also sue you because they say, oh, like B-Level, because Empire charged too much cover at the door.
Right.
And they know, they know everybody broke. We can't be paying no $10. We can pay $5.
Yeah.
They could sue you for that.
Yeah.
I mean, they would lose, they'll get kicked out, but they could. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a ridiculous example, but that could happen.
So it's like 6 in one hand, half a dozen. What the wife was saying, you shouldn't say it publicly. If that's your hiring practices, you should just do it and not say it publicly. That's what she was saying. And she was also saying you could be sued for that. And I said, yeah, I could be sued, but I don't think it's illegal. Which basically she was right because she was saying that's probably not something you should say publicly, because then that opens myself up for anybody to say because they didn't, I hired somebody. But keep in mind, my kicker was they were equally qualified. So it's not like it's mystery.
And at the end of the day, you get to hire whoever you want to
Absolutely.
hire.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like you go to Twin Peaks or Hooters, and everybody there, is a C and D cup. And then you can say, well, I ain't getting no job because I'm A cup.
Yeah. One last thing before you go, Antoine. I see that you shared this thing with Cannibal. I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have an opinion to what's going on down at this Cannibal and Craft situation down here with the deal that he posted with unacceptable attire? Do you have an opinion on that?
I do have an opinion, and it's still forming. Once it's completed, I will tell all your listeners to tune in to Rock the Culture next week. Where I'm able to give my full opinion. No, but
when can they catch you on Rock the Culture? When can they listen in for that?
Hey, we record every other Sunday, so it'll be out the following week. So we record next Sunday, so it'll be next Tuesday when the episode will be out.
Okay.
But my opinion is this. I hadn't been in there since it's been rebranded. But obviously, and this is unfortunately typical for Little Rock, obviously something happened where they feel like they had to make some different rules. Right? I don't know what that is, but obviously it must have been enough people in there dressed a certain way where they said, this is not what we want. And by doing that, they open themselves up for the criticism that they received.
Right.
And it's pretty clear who that was aimed at. It's also pretty clear that they are a private business, like we were just talking about. They have the right to say, "Hey, you ugly. We don't want you in here."
Right.
Like they could do that.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be stated in that terms, because if someone else came in, say you name somebody, I'm gonna just say Joe Johnson because he's from Little Rock.
Right.
So Joe Johnson come in, he got on 3 chains and some ripped jeans. You think they're gonna let him in or not?
Yes.
They probably letting Joe Johnson in.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Because they know Joe he got a few dollars.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
become discriminatory because then they won't let Joe Blow in, and then you start to maybe open yourself up to some problems. But I want to do some more research. I want to understand what led it to get to this point. I've experienced that before at B-Level years ago. There was a club on the Rocks who did the same thing. We used to go there every weekend.
Right.
And then I showed up one day, and the guy told me my polo was too long because he couldn't see my crotch. And I said, excuse me? He said, I can't see your crotch. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's inappropriate. But secondly, what are you saying? He's like, oh, we got new rules now. So they didn't put it on the window, but they were trying to enforce new rules.
Right.
Which basically told me that me and the people I was with, we didn't want y'all here anymore.
Wow.
And it didn't stay open much longer after that. So I'm still forming my opinion, but obviously I think what they did was wrong because it was aimed at a certain group.
Right. Right.
And I'm part of that group, so I don't like it.
Absolutely.
Just put it blankly, but I want to talk to some people and do some research. And as a member of someone who represents the city of Little Rock as well, I don't want our city to be known for that. I mean, that went viral. People all around the country seeing this. Man, in Little Rock, they don't even like black people.
Right.
I mean, that's what that narrative is.
Right.
Whether that's right or wrong,
Right.
Yeah.
that's what people are saying. And as someone who represents the city, I don't want us to be portrayed that way.
Absolutely.
Right. Right.
So that's where I am.
Well, thank you for coming on. Those of you that are just tuning on, that was Antoine Phillips. He is the co-founder of the Rock the Culture podcast, which airs bi-weekly. Antoine, is that when it airs?
It's bi-weekly, twice a month. Every other Tuesday, the episode gets out. We just released one that should have been this Tuesday, but it was late. It came out yesterday, so we got a fresh pod anywhere you. If you listen to this one, you can find Rock the Culture at the same place, wherever that is.
And that's him and Blake. It's Charles Blake.
Charles Blake.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate you for coming on. I hate that I lost the argument because, you know, my wife don't let stuff go so easily.
And not only did you lose it, B-Level, you lost it on wax.
Yeah.
You didn't even call me before. Like, hey, this is the question.
No.
If the answer is yes, I don't need you calling me.
All right, well, go back to your dinner, man.
Thank
I
you,
interrupted your
Antoine.
dinner.
All right, I'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Look forward to listening to the rest of the pod.
All right,
right.
thanks.
All right, so y'all scratch that comment that I just said about 20 minutes ago. Let me just tell you, never let your wife be right, because I promise you, I never win an argument. So scratch what I said. Just don't worry about nothing that I said. All right, so do we have time to get in this last thing? We've been on it.
We have time.
Okay, so the next comment that the next topic that we were going to talk about, I don't know if you guys are my Facebook friends, but my wife tagged my page as well. Last Friday, I was invited to have a sit down, excuse me?
This past Friday.
I was invited to have a sit down with the candidate for governor of the state of Arkansas, Susan Huckabee Sanders. He said delete. And I got an opportunity to have a Q&A with her. It was myself. It was a private event. It was invite only. She did not invite the media. It was our opportunity to sit down. It was probably 15 other people in the room. Maybe not men, maybe 12 to 15. There were some other people that I won't name because they may not want their identity to be named. And we were not allowed to take pictures of anybody else who was in the room because she wanted to sit down with minority business owners, community leaders, and she wanted to know our expectations and get an opportunity to ask questions. And I was invited by Attorney Sylvester Smith. He invited me and he said, man, I want you to come and sit down. And he asked me, he said, you know, are you, he didn't ask me my race. He just said, are you political? As I think is what he asked me. And I said, you know, sometimes. And he said, why, you know, I have an opportunity to have a up close and personal with this candidate. I actually went. We spent in about a couple of hours, not only myself, but like I said, there were 12 other business owners. And one of the things that I asked her and I pressed her on, and I said, you know, I told her that back when I was 19, and this is a true story, when I was 19, I got tangled in with some bad people, and I actually got convicted of a felony. And I told her that her father, Huckabee, the governor Huckabee, pardoned me. And so I told him because of that pardon, I was able to get some amazing corporate jobs, some jobs that were really high-paying jobs because I was qualified. But had I had that felony on my record, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to. And because of that, I think that my life, I have been blessed immeasurably because of that. And so because her dad took an opportunity and a chance on me, I was able to get better jobs. And I said, a lot of my friends were not as fortunate. And so I asked her, how open will she be to re-looking at some of the African Americans being pardoned? We all know that, that it's a lot harder for blacks to get pardons than white. And so I pressed her on that, and she had an answer. But I put that picture after we had a photo op, and I put that picture on social media. And later little did I know that it was going to cause such a ruckus. I had one guy to call me ignorant. And he called me ignorant because he said that I was allowing, I guess because she's a Republican governor. Let's face it, the next governor we will have, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but more than likely, it's my opinion, probably will be a Republican because this is a Republican state. So either her or Leslie Rutledge probably have the best chance. I'm not going to say that they're going to win, but they probably have the better chance of winning the governor. So the guy said that I was allowing her to use me as a photo prop, which she didn't ask me to. A photo what? Op. It's not prop? Op.
Like okay. Opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity. Mm-hmm. She didn't ask me to take the picture with me. I asked to take the picture with her. So, and his name was, should I say his name on the podcast, or am I opening myself up for a lawsuit?
No, because I don't want to give him any more.
All right, well, go back and look at our page. Look at my page, and the guy called me stupid, and I'm like, okay, how dumb would I not be that if you have an opportunity to sit down with who might be the next governor of the state of Arkansas, and what I said is, I'm going to always have a seat at the table to take a listen, to have conversation, because you can't change things. Things are changed from the top. They're not changed from the bottom. And so unless you're talking to people that have the power to change things, which if she gets the governor, she will have the power to change things, how dumb would I be to not have a meeting with somebody who could potentially be the next governor of Arkansas? And so there was a lot of going back and forth. My wife jumped in there, and, you said something to the effect of, how are you criticizing another black man? Your opinions. What did you say again?
I just asked, this person, and, just because, everyone knows him, but the reason why I just really chose not to mention his name on our podcast is just because I just don't want to give him any more attention that he's already had. Yeah. And so sometimes, just out of, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and he's kind of this whole political realm. We were talking about it the other day, and I said, sometimes you kind of let people take you out of character, or you feel the need to respond to things based on what they said. So this person, they're a little older. They kind of have a radio voice, and I have known them to call themselves an activist in the community for African American people.
Right.
He's very vocal about things as what's discriminatory in practices, whether it's the city of Little Rock. I've heard him just be very vocal about things that has happened in our community as a whole, as African American people. So, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion. So I never want you guys to understand that my issue or my husband's issue is for someone having an opinion. There's nothing wrong with an opinion. Right. What was a little indifferent and offensive was calling him out of his name. Like,
he said I was paid off.
He basically the initial response was ignorance. He just came on the post and just said just based on this photo was ignorance.
I was ignorant to take the photo is what he was saying.
So my my response to that is that, as I just said, you call yourself a voice of the people. You call yourself as an activist, a local activist. You've also was what I heard, you were president of NAACP at some point.
Yeah.
How do you not find it offensive for you to get on another African American man's post and call him out of his name? Like, it's very condescending. It was very disrespectful. And so it just kind of went on and on and on. So I guess, maybe he didn't address me because I was the wife, or maybe he didn't address me because he didn't feel the need to. But first and foremost, my husband.
You knew what you were talking about too.
Well, that's another thing.
He didn't have a comment to come back with that.
My husband and I are as one, and so sometimes he kind of lets things roll off his back, and so whereas if he chooses not to respond, not saying that he didn't have the answer to do so, but I have the audacity and I have the right to speak on his behalf.
Right.
So if you want to have an intelligent conversation, I have time for that. He probably don't have the time for that, but I have the time for that. So I was expecting for him to respond back to me because that was very offensive to me, again, because you call yourself this person and let me just say this.
For the people.
When I went back to read some of the comments, it seemed to be like some of it was educational, right? It seems like he was trying to provide an education as his opinion of things, which was, this is a photo opportunity for her. This is something for her, and that's fine. But the way you chose to educate someone on something was just totally taken out of context. So much to the point where not only were you attacking my husband, you then got on and started attacking other people that were on the post because they want to share their story about who my husband is. And so as what I expected to happen was, as respect for another African-American man, I would have expected for you to either inbox him to get his number to have a conversation with him.
Right.
I would have expected for there to be a man-to-man conversation, African-American man to African-American man that's supposed to be this activist, to get an understanding of what this was.
Right.
Because if you really wanted to know what it was, there could have been a conversation of, hey, what happened in this? But for you to come onto someone's social media post and be so condescending and so disrespectful and make somebody really want to go down to the gutter with you is very disrespectful. So any respect that I had, or any respect that anybody that's associated with my husband and I, that we have for you, that's no longer there. So I expect an apology. I expect some clarification. I expect something other than you just steady on this post, just going in on this post, because it was too disrespectful. And so it was just God's honest truth. It was the prayer of David that really kept me from going down in the gutter with you. But what I did understand is you cannot always entertain clowns. Clowns are just going to be who they are. So, but understand, you was 2.2 seconds from getting that response, because it was disrespectful and off of a photo. It was just a picture. I want you guys to understand, my husband never said I am voting for her. He never said, we talked about this and I am 100% sure she's backed me. Yeah. I'm going to be in her political video. I'm going to run. She is it. It was never that.
So
it was a photo opportunity.
I think that's what he thought. And kind of like my wife said, I have really grown. I've learned to let a lot of things that are not really important kind of roll off me, because what I tell my wife a lot of times is, because she and I kind of live not on purpose but on accident in the public, and because we're popular, there are things that come with that. Some good, some bad. That's some of the bad. That when somebody take a picture with us, he thought that maybe I was endorsing her. Mm-hmm. He thought that she had paid me to take this picture. Mm-hmm. He thought that she was using me to be the blackface, is what he said. He thought that I wanted to encourage black people, African-American, our people, to vote for her. Mm-hmm. That's not what it was. And like the wife said, you should have asked before you open your mouth.
Absolutely.
But then the other thing is, a clown will clown anywhere.
That's true.
And so I think he wanted his 5 minutes or 10 minutes of fame, because he could have asked. He could have inboxed and said, hey, man, I seen you put this picture on. Tell me what she asked. But at first thing he said is, how much did she pay you off? And I told him, my vote is not for sale. I don't need any money. God has blessed my wife and I to have good businesses and great. So I don't have to be paid off. So he assumed something that he didn't even ask. And we all know what happens when you assume things. Mm-hmm. But I responded to him, and then as I see him, he kept coming back and forth. I realized that he just wanted his 5 minutes of fame, and I told my wife, I said, just give him a pass and understand that everything I try to do it with integrity. I try to do it. You never know where you're going to end up. One day I may run for the state of Arkansas to be the governor. So I always try to think. However, I do agree with my wife that sometimes I'm not that grown. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes you have to stoop down to the gutter with these people. That just wasn't. D said the prayer of David.
The prayer of David. I'm telling you.
That just wasn't one of the times. But it ended up. I think more people commented on and said, how can you change people? How can you change things if you don't have the conversation?
Absolutely.
So how are you going to fault this man for going to have a conversation? You can't never change things. You can't never tell the governor what's important to you or your business or your family or your culture if you don't take that meeting. And I think Sylvester chimed in and he said, how can you at some point in time be the president of a nationally African-American ran organization and it's for the advancement of black people, but you don't even want this black man to go take a meeting that could probably advance his culture, his family, his business with taking this meeting. So how could you say that? And then he also said you owed your Brian apology. And I haven't gotten it yet, and I don't think I will.
Probably won't get an apology, but here's after just having kind of for some extensive conversation and speaking to somebody that I really kind of have some respect for, is that it really this is kind of the second infraction that has happened between he and you.
Yes.
And so it's really starting to make me question, are you really for African American people?
Yeah.
Like, when you do these things that you have done, it really makes me question, like, are you really for us? You know what I'm saying? Like, because here's the thing. Not to go so much into what happened the first time, because there was an incident that happened the first time.
Yes.
But when the
incident
took place, your first response was they should close his business down.
Yeah.
Do you know how many African American people that my husband employs? Like, my husband employs African American people that have to feed their families.
Right.
So the first thing you had to say in regards to his business was close his business, and he employs African American people. 85-90% of his staff are African American people that has African American families that live in your African American community that you so-called have a voice for.
Right.
So how do you become so condescending to on someone's post and be so ignorant and call them out their names that you want them to close his business that employs African American people that you have a voice for? So now my question is, this is the second incident that has happened. Now I'm really starting to question, like, are you really for African American people?
Right.
That's the question. That is, at this point, it's not even rhetorical. It's not a rhetorical question. I really want you to offer an apology, because you need that.
Yeah.
And then secondly, now let's have a very intelligent conversation, because now I'm open to having conversation. Let's have an intelligent conversation, because now you have to make me feel that I need to get some respect back for you, and so does your people in your community, because I'm starting to believe that you don't respect your people. You don't have a respect for the people, and this voice that you have, you're not using the voice for what it needs to be using for. So do you really have a voice for the black people? Are you really for your people? Like, you're really starting to make me second guess you. So while you're second guess my husband on a photo that was taken, I'm starting to now question every motive that you have and everything that you've said and done, that you want them to close a prominent African American business that employ black people. And then because he wants to do something for it's from a picture, it's just a picture. You could have easily said what took place in this company. Not that it's any of your business, but to get some more factual data, you could have just picked up the phone and asked, how did that go? What happened?
Why were you there?
What took place? How were you even invited?
Yeah.
What took place? There is nothing wrong with having intelligent dialogue. And now I feel like a fool because I even responded to your unintelligent dialogue. But now I really do. Like, really, now I want to sit down and have a consistent conversation. Now I want to meet at Starbucks and let's talk about it. Let's talk about, are you really for your people? Because the way that it's going is making me believe that you're not.
Yeah.
It's really making me believe that you're not.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I don't really do things for public likes or comments. So when the comments come that are not great, they don't bother me because I don't do it for likes and comments. I'm gonna say it again. I don't do things for likes and comments. So you saying something bad about me. That's not why I was there anyway. So, but yeah, it got a lot of likes. It got a lot of comments on it. If you can go back and refer, it's still on my page. I'm not going to take it down. So maybe after you finish off of this live, just go back to my page and look at it. I mean, I had former basketball players commented on it. I think Chanel Smith, she commented on it. I think she does some activist work. Sylvester Smith, the attorney. There was another attorney, Chris Boyd. He commented on it. Everybody was just kind of chiming in on it. You got some more.
Let's see. So
comments.
Shaquila says, activists mean well, but they don't always have the best interests of the African American community. That's what I just said. A lot of them are angry and their actions are out of dislike or hate of white people, and they try to force their way on others. My philosophy of life is all white people aren't racist and all black people ain't right. I believe in diversity, networking, and collaborating with all races and people from all walks of life. That is just really true. It's just really kind of confirmed what I said. Like, I just don't. Now I really understand the reason for not having conversation about just political views or religious and all these different things, because it brings situations like this.
Right.
Some of those conversations are important to have inside of your home and just different places. However, if I choose to be a Democratic Party, that doesn't mean I'm just going to walk into I go into the toe, I'm just going to automatically just vote straight across the line Democratic.
Yes.
I'm going to vote for the candidate that's going to be suited for myself and my family. If that means a Republican governor, but then it means a Democratic, treasurer, whatever I choose to vote for is going to be what's going to be conducive for myself and my family, and then my kids and my grandkids and those to come after me.
That's correct.
It does not mean that because I want to get back to my culture, everything black people do is right. No, it's not. That's not how I feel. And a lot of activists don't have a purpose. Let me just say this. In order for me to stand behind you and support you, and you have this, I am an activist, there needs to be a purpose. I need to know what are you protesting for? Yeah. There's more to being an activist than just hating all the white people or hating all the police officers or hating all the city government or hating the state government. There is so much more to just being an activist and what you're for than forcing your views on people. And that's basically what you're doing. This individual himself, you're basically trying to bully your way into people just supporting you and what your views are. Right. What's wrong with people being independent and have their own independent decisions about different things? That's okay. Like, I don't believe in, there's some things that I disagree with, people that I work with, I worship with, I vote. There's disagreements, but to be so slighted, to call someone out their name because they don't have the same view as you, or you get a misperception of something based off of a photo, was very disrespectful. So there are better ways to do it, and the way that he chose to go about this situation was just too disrespectful. So again, if anyone knows who this person is, and if you want to refer them to the podcast, or you guys want to give him my number or my husband's number to have a further conversation, I would love to do it. If he wants to come on the show, we will bring him on the show. We'll go on his show. It doesn't matter. Right. But I need him to understand that what he has done and what he continues to do by forcing himself on those in the community that doesn't agree with him, it's not right. I'm not going to make him believe that it's right. We're going to do what's best for our family. And I hope inside of you, as being another African-American man, you do what's best for yours. And because our views are different does not mean that we have to be enemies or you have to be condescending and do name calling. That's not what that means.
Yep. So there it is. It's like I said, you could go back and refer to it. It is still on my Facebook page. I'm going to keep it up. You can see all of the comments and all the going back and forth that happened. This happened on Friday. Was it Friday? Saturday?
It was Friday, baby.
Friday?
It was Friday evening.
Mm-hmm. Friday, Saturday. It kind of went back and forth all Saturday too. So just go back and look at the comments. I think we've had a really, really great show tonight. We did. Really great show. We're going to try to come every Sunday night and do our podcast. However, some Sundays we're traveling because our daughter is in AAU basketball, and we were in Jonesboro this past weekend, but we were able to get back to have a 7 o'clock time. That's our targeted time, at 7 o'clock on Sunday night. We understand you're unwinding, you're getting ready to go to work, and we got some great topics to to conversate with you
We
about.
do.
But sometimes, because we're traveling, we might actually fall on a Monday. So we try to do as a first preference Sunday, but sometimes it's on a Monday. But all you have to do is go to any podcast source and search for Love Wins by the Stewards, okay, for the audio. The video for this podcast lives on YouTube under Brian Stewart Sr., and that's Brian with a Y, Bryan, Brian Stewart Sr. And you can go back and listen to all of our past podcasts. If you want a visual aspect, that's where the visual aspect lives.
And if you want to be on the show, what do you need to do if they want to be on the panel?
So I keep forgetting. I think it's lovewins.stewart.
Stewart.lovewins@gmail.com.
That is stewart.lovewins@gmail.com if you want to send an email address, or you can inbox us. All right. You could just inbox us and tell us why you want to be a part of the show. Also, with the sponsors, we are getting ready. We're going to take the show. We can pack this show up and come and broadcast in your facility. If you want us to do that, just also hit us up. All right.
Yes, and it's very special. Thank you for Antoine Phillips for coming on the show. He's a managing partner at Wrightlands and Jennings, and he also has a podcast himself that talk about these things, these topics that we're discussing. They're not as messy as we are sometimes, though.
Sometimes it is, though.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get entertained. And again, as I said, it's they film on every other Sunday, and it's released on Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's him and Charles Blake.
Yes, and the name of it is Rock the Culture. So RLCK, the culture.
I think that's a wrap. I think we have it all. So listen, tune in to us next Sunday. Please, also on our Facebook, get a notification so that when we go live, you can get the notification that we're getting ready, because we always do it on Facebook, so it could be interaction and we take your questions so we can answer them right then.
Thank you guys so
Until
much.
next week, we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.